Hello everyone, today is day 5 of my Countdown to Christmas series. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be making a card using this older die set from Simon Says Stamp. It's called Line Trees. And you know, when I went to go find my links, I couldn't find the Christmas trees. I think they may be discontinued, but they're no longer available. So at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you an option on how to create the same card that I'm making today without the dies. And then if you are a die person, and I did kind of search for a couple of dies that were similar, kind of, sort of, and I left them in the description area for you. But I grabbed a piece of red glittered cardstock. I'm going to place all 3 of my trees on here, and then we're going to die cut out 3 red Christmas trees. I'm also going to take a piece of white cardstock and die cut out a panel with a stitched rectangle die. This panel is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. Once everything's die cut out, using my glitter trees as a guide, we're going to take the 2 tall skinny ones, we're going to place them, kind of arrange them on our panel how we want them to be placed here, and then I'm going to grab those same dies and I will cut out a window in my panel, basically a Christmas tree window. Lovely. Okay, we're going to run that through, and there's our windows. I'm going to take my tape runner and add some tape behind my back panel, and we're going to cover the back side with a piece of acetate. The acetate that I use is the Hero Arts acetate sheets. They come in a pack of 20, and they are 5 inches by 6 inches. And I like the how easy they cut, and they die cut easy too. So those are kind of my favorite. Once my acetate is adhered, I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape behind the entire background panel, but I'm going to go around each one of those trees really well. And I tucked them pretty close together because we're going to add some glitter on the inside there. And so I didn't want the glitter to fall out. Okay, I'm going to take my trees and just using some glue, I'll add glue all along the edges of my tree here, and then we'll just inlay that right inside the acetate area. I'm going to use an acrylic block to kind of weight it down while I work on the next one. Okay, both of those are inlaid. Now we're going to flip our panel over. I'm going to grab some Avery Elle coarse glitter, and we're going to fill in those trees. Now, because the glitter will fall down to the bottom, I decided to add some a little bit of glue to each one of those lines inside that Christmas tree. This way I have glitter staying put on the upper side of the tree. I'm just going to shake my panel a little bit to even out that glitter, and then I'll remove the release paper. I did cut out another panel that was the same size. I'm just going to place that on the back, and then we have some glittery Christmas trees. Looks like snow. I thought that would be so fun. Okay, now I like dimension on my cards, and so I wanted to figure out a way to add this 3rd tree with dimension. And since the lines on it were pretty thin, this is my solution. I'm going to glue this down to another piece of acetate. Once it's glued down, I'll take my scissors and just trim off the excess. And I still wanted glitter behind this one so that all of my trees kind of coordinate, but I can't make it a shaker because I know I can't get foam tape that thin. So I'll just use my glue, and again add some glue along the stripes on this tree. I need to grab my tweezers because it's just sticking. Okay, grab some scratch paper, and then I'm going to go over the back side of this with some more of my coarse glitter. That way it looks almost the same as my 2 trees on my panel there. It's just not going to shake. Okay, we'll pour this back in the container. And now we're going to work on our sentiment. So I'm going to grab a piece of black cardstock, and then using my anti-static powder tool here, I'm going to go over that. I'm going to ink up a sentiment that I just pulled from one of my other stamp sets. It says Merry Christmas. It's just a block sentiment. It's not fancy or anything, and I think everybody could probably find a Merry Christmas like this in their stash. But I added some white embossing powder. I'm going to go ahead and grab my heat gun and melt that. I'm just waiting for it to warm up a little bit. Okay, once that's melted, I'm going to use a sentiment banner die. It's an MFT stitch sentiment strip banner die. And I'm going to cut out my sentiment. I'm going to place the sentiment towards the right, so there's a little bit of a gap on the left side. We're going to fill that in with a little star. I'm going to use some foam tape, place it behind my sentiment, and we'll add that to our panel. I wanted to ground my trees, so sentiments are a great way to ground things. Place those right over the stems of our trees. Lovely. Now I'm going to go ahead, add some tape behind here, and we'll adhere this to an A2 size card base. Once we have that adhered, I am going to grab my little Christmas tree here, my third one, and then I did die cut out 3 different size stars with some silver cardstock. I'm going to take the largest star and place that right next to my sentiment, and then kind of using my tree as a guide. I thought the star would be a great way to add dimensional adhesive behind that third Christmas tree, popping it up a little bit, and then with a few sequins I think I can make like a floating tree. It actually turned out really neat. But I'll just glue this star down, and then next we'll flip this over. I'm going to grab some dimensional adhesive. These are on the smaller side, and I'm going to stack 2 together. Actually, these are from Stampin' Up, and they're the smaller dimensionals, and so when you stack 2 on top of each other, it's not too thick, but it's perfect dimension. Okay, now I did add a couple more areas where I added dimension, just so it would be a little bit more balanced. I'm going to go ahead and glue down my stars, and you can see the other 2 through that middle Christmas tree window, but we're going to fix that just a bit. Once all of our stars are adhered, I think that's going to look so neat. It really does look like a floating tree. Okay, now I have some red sequins that I had in my stash, and I thought it would be perfect size to cover up those smaller dimensional adhesives, and it covered up pretty good, actually. From the front view you really can't see them, so I was happy with the outcome. I just glued down a few sequins all over all of my trees. Then I thought we needed a little bit more silver, so I'm taking some silver stickles and just adding dots in the center of each one of those sequins, creating some two-tone ornaments on those trees. And that's my card. Now here I wanted to show you guys how you can recreate that tree without those dies. I felt so bad that I couldn't find products. That's the worst thing, believe it or not, about creating videos, is because I've created a few cards where I haven't shown them only because I can't link to the products, and I know if they're not available, it's kind of hard to recreate something. So this is an option that I came up with since I couldn't find those dies. Now I just took thin strips of that glitter cardstock and I created a triangle that was about the same shape. Now I'm using my tape runner only because I wanted to do this super fast. But if you plan on redoing this without the dies, I would suggest a multimedia mat, especially on that glitter cardstock. But I'm using tape just because I don't have to wait for it to dry. But I added my stem, and then I'm just taking those thinner strips and crisscrossing them on the back. And it was super easy to do, and you can make any sizes that you would like. And it's just about the same. It is a little bit thicker, but if you wanted to make your strips even thinner, you could do that. But I thought this was a nice little option. You don't have to buy any dies to go with it. So pretty close. Easy peasy to do too. And the tape is not holding up too well. Now I want to show you how to create a window in your panel. You just take your pencil and outline your tree. And since it is a geometric shape, all you have to do is take your ruler and a craft knife and cut out that window. And you could create pretty much the same card. My tree kind of lost its shape because I used tape, but I think you get the idea of it. So that's your option you guys have. I hope it's helpful. I wish you a fantastic day. Thanks so much for joining me for day 5. Keep a lookout for day 6. That's coming soon. And have a great day. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.